yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Yeah, we ran out of patience. Boil up with a cold hard hatred. I can feel the vibration. Feet in the streets, it's a new sensation. I wanna break faces on the pavement. I wanna make greatness look complacent. Adrenaline awakened, I can taste it. We can make an impact, grab and then take it. Like a disease, bring them to their knees. Pain for their disease. Just like a weed.
Oh my God. I'm telling you, it is great outside. It is fantastic outside, and I am very, very happy that Mother Nature has decided to be kind to us now, especially in the state of New Jersey, because we got a nice 60-degree day. A nice 60-degree day, and I'm very, very, very happy about that. Now, as you know, you take a look at your calendar, you take a look at the time, and you already know what I'm about to say next. If you don't know what I'm about to say next, then clearly you've been living under a rock and you haven't been paying attention, because it's Saturday, and you know what that means. We're live, ladies and gentlemen. I am the one and only DJ Storms, and I would like to welcome each and every single one of you back here to the greatest fucking show on earth, as we are streaming live on 4 different platforms across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different accounts. And as per usual, we're going to get down to the nitty gritty, getting down and dirty, talking some good old fashioned pro wrestling on a Saturday. As of course, you already know who I am, Mr. Controversy, and the operator of the best damn X, formerly known as Twitter, handle, no. Stop what you're doing. Stop what you're doing, because there is an oh so familiar scent in the air. So here's what I need y'all to do. I need y'all to take a nice big inhale, and I want you to go, oh. You got to do it twice. So nice. You got to do it twice. I want you to hit it a second time with me. So please, people, if you can, please do it with me and go, oh. You got to hit the hat trick. You already did it once. You already did it twice. Got to do it a third time. Hit that hat trick, and I want you to take the biggest inhale that you've ever inhaled, and I want you to go, oh, shit. Do you smell that? Oh my God, that is succulent. That is tasty. Do you know what that is? I will tell you what the fuck that smell is. That is the smell of pure motherfucking excellence. Wait for it. Wait for it. Woo! To mankind, I am on fire all day, every day, on time, all the time. And this is the official Lightning Flash update for Saturday, March 16th. Oh, hell yeah, it's 316 Day. March 16th, 2024. Thank you all for choosing me to spend your Saturday afternoons with, or Saturday mornings, Saturday evenings, wherever you may be, whatever day it may be. You already know when DJ Storms goes live, it is going to be a very, very exquisitely excellent show. Gotta calm down a little bit here. I don't want to waste too much energy on the beginning. Anyway. Couple of announcements I would like to make before we get into the festivities. I have officially been monetized, ladies and gentlemen. So if you go down in the chat on my YouTube channel, if everyone could go down to the bottom on the right side, if you're watching on YouTube, you can send your super stickers and super chats. Send them in, and I will be creating very special channel memberships. You will be getting very special emojis. You'll be able to send my face as an emoji. You'll be able to send JV Thunder's face as an emoji. You'll be able to send a blue fist with a lightning bolt in it as an emoji. And I'll be doing very special channel membership videos. You can do the beginner's plan, which is, I would say, $3.99. You could do the Eye of the Storm plan, which is $9.99. And then you got the best one, the DJ Storms approved membership plan, which is $14.99. So people, if you're looking for some membership plans, go and check it out. Or if you want to, send your super stickers and send your super chats, because I am going to be moving up in the world sooner rather than later. Anyone that's watching on Twitter or anyone that's watching on Facebook, please migrate over to my YouTube channel and start sending those super chats and super stickers in. You can also send me super thanks as well. Either way, it helps me out and it helps the channel out. So please go send them in if you can. In addition to that, please make sure that you follow me on social media, whether it be on X or Instagram. My social media on X and Instagram is at HistoryMakerDJS, because I make history in everything that I do. So please go follow me over there. You can add me on Facebook as well. For collaborations and business inquiries, please send me an email. My email is, of course, StormsTakeOver@gmail.com. You can also like the official DJ Storms business page, and I may just send you an invite to join the official DJ Storms Posse group on Facebook. That is, all of those links are in the very description of this stream if you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube. In addition to that, people, please make sure that you go and check me out on Rumble. My Rumble is DJ Storms, as per usual. We got a nice solid 20 people watching. Now, that's what I like to see. Nice solid 20 people watching. If you haven't already done so, please make sure you migrate over to my YouTube channel as well, so that way we can get some more people over there and maybe we can get some super chats flowing sooner rather than later. Check me out on Rumble. The link is in the description. If you're watching on Rumble, go check me out on YouTube. The link is in the description. Please make sure, if you haven't already done so, that you hit the like button. Hit that like button and share the stream out on all platforms of social media, whether it be Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or Pinterest or Tumblr, Snapchat, TikTok, Twitch, Rumble. No matter what social media platforms that you may be using, please make sure to get the word out there that I am live on the airwaves within the IWC, and everyone needs to get their dosage of DJ Shizzle Dizzle, because it is a known fact that I make people's lives better. I don't make the rules. Yes, I do. In addition to that, please make sure to hit the subscribe button, whether it be on my channel or the Hardcore Sports channel. We are very, very close to hitting 1,000 subscribers for the Hardcore Sports channel It is very, very important that you help out Hardcore Sports. And of course, me, I am on the road to 2,400 subscribers. Please go help me out over there. Like I said, super chats and super stickers, they're open right now. Send them on in. Help me out because I deserve some praise. I deserve a little bit of dough for all the fucking work that I do. I have been the most prominent and the most vital non-paid content creator for a long, long time. I think I deserve a few extra bucks just for the hard work that I do. 20 fucking pages of notes every fucking week. In addition to that, be sure, whether you're watching on my channel or Hardcore Sports, be sure to hit that notifications bell with a huge coup de grace because that way you are going to know whenever I pop up on YouTube. Because whenever I pop up on YouTube, oh, baby, it is the absolute best fucking time to be on YouTube. Do you know why? Because it is the only time that you are going to see this glorious sideburn chin strap combination and this beautiful mustache right here. You already know. Hold on. It's in here. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Look at that shit. Look at it. What does that say? That says ace. You know why? Because I am the motherfucking ace of the IWC. Hold on. I gotta. Oh, my God. I gotta blow on it. It is hot. It is sizzlating. We're going to let it up right here on the LFU on 316 day. Oh, hell yeah. With a little and a dash of and a whole lot of because like hot, fresh, steaming pierogies and grilled cheese right off of the frying pan. I am just so good. I am scrumptious. I am the tastiest snack in the IWC, and everybody, and I mean absolutely everybody, who wants a piece of the Storms Meister. Paul, aka the Shooter, thank you very much for joining. Paul, I'm monetized now. I am monetized now, so if you want to, you can send me some super stickers and super chats, and if you guys are lucky, I might read them at the end of the stream, so please make sure you get them in before the stream is over. Now then, enough of the self-brand promotion and the advertisements. Why don't we get straight into the festivities here on the Lightning Flash update? Why don't we start off with the major topic of discussion today? I usually save the major topics for later on in the stream, but I may as well do it first. LA Knight. LA Knight has quickly become one of the most popular acts on WWE TV. LA Knight, apparently, while doing an interview with Gorilla Position, LA Knight came off slightly frustrated in this recent interview where he expressed a little frustration and a bit of concern about not being involved in a championship title picture going into WrestleMania 40. When asked if he was frustrated about not being in the title picture, LA Knight had this to say, and I quote, "Yes, yeah, in a certain way. So I look at my career in a sense of 2023. In reality, should have never happened. That was insanity. That was crazy. How I mean, literally, legitimately, there were no plans for me until the Royal Rumble." If you guys have forgotten, to be quite honest with you, I would not blame you. Royal Rumble 2023, that was the show in which LA Knight and Bray Wyatt's feud culminated in that infamous Lights Out match. LA Knight then continued by saying, "I get all of these congratulations," and everybody's like, "You've done so much." I'm like, "I have, but everything that I've done from a career standpoint, pretty good, but from a merit standpoint, this guy's been an Intercontinental Champion. This guy's been a United States Champion, World Heavyweight Champion, Money in the Bank, Royal Rumble winner, any of that stuff. I really don't have anything to hang my hat on in that regard." End quote. Now, clearly, you could tell by this interview that he came off rather tame. You could tell by this interview that he came off rather controlled, rather relaxed, rather professional, but I can read between the lines. I've become a pretty good individual when it comes to reading in between the lines, when it comes to professional wrestling interviews and when professional wrestlers discuss certain topics. And you could tell throughout all the calmness, throughout all the professionalism that LA Knight puts out there in this interview, you can tell that there is a little bit of frustration in there. And rightfully so. You take a look at what LA Knight has done since last year. LA Knight, for all intensive purposes, should have realistically been buried after that feud with Bray Wyatt. But instead, the crowd reactions just grew louder and louder and louder. LA Knight, for all intensive purposes, should have been completely fucking finished. But the crowd took to him. The crowd took to him, and he became the most over act in the company at that point in time. And the crazy thing about it is, he didn't even do anything over the top. He just went out there and he was LA Knight. He got over by being LA Knight. That's it. And he didn't even have the proper booking to back him up. He was a fucking loser for the majority of 2023 until SummerSlam came around. And he won that Slim Jim Battle Royale or whatever the fuck they called it. LA Knight, he brought himself up to a level in which the fans want to see him succeed. And it's not just a flavor of the month type of gimmick. You listen to the crowd reactions, he's still getting big crowd reactions as we speak. Why isn't he in the title picture? It's a very valid question. I've been saying this for months now. LA Knight should have already been a champion on WWE TV. The United States Championship was right there for him. The United States Championship would have been a perfect championship for LA Knight to represent. I said it once, I'll say it again. LA Knight should have been the guy to take the United States Championship off of Austin Theory at SummerSlam last year. We didn't need Theory dropping it to Rey Mysterio. We didn't need Rey Mysterio then dropping it to Logan Paul. Logan Paul, as great as he is, he never needed to win the United States Championship. And Rey Mysterio, he wrestled for 3 months with a torn fucking meniscus. He wrestled for 3 months with a torn fucking meniscus. You would have saved Rey Mysterio the potential of further injuring his knee. He could have gotten surgery immediately after SummerSlam. He would have been back a lot sooner, and the United States title would have been on the right guy. LA Knight should have never been involved in a world title program with Roman Reigns because he was never going to win. And everyone with a brain like myself, most people were fairly okay with Logan Paul winning the United States Championship. I wouldn't have given Paul the United States Championship, but I knew what they were doing because in the end, Logan Paul winning the United States title would have set up Logan Paul versus LA Knight at WrestleMania. It would have given the United States title perhaps one of the biggest spotlights it's ever gotten in WWE history, and LA Knight would have finally won the championship that he should have won 8 months ago. So I was okay with Logan Paul being United States champion for a certain extent, and then they decided to go a completely different direction. They gave LA Knight AJ Styles, and they gave Logan Paul and Randy Orton and Kevin Owens, they gave those 3 guys the United States title match spotlight at WrestleMania. Which, by the way, those 2 matches were made official last night on SmackDown. So LA Knight, he has every single right to be angry or frustrated. The fact that LA Knight is not in the United States title picture as we speak is absolutely inexcusable. LA Knight should have never been involved in a world title match with Roman. The fact that LA Knight, he had to sacrifice his momentum against Roman Reigns just so Roman could use LA Knight as a bridge to get to 2024 and a match with Cody. Realistically, we all thought Logan Paul and LA Knight was going to be the U.S. title match, and then they went a completely different direction and gave LA Knight AJ Styles. I'm sorry, but that is a SmackDown match at best. And it doesn't matter how good the triple threat match with Owens, Orton, and Paul is going to be. That match did not need to happen. With all the momentum that LA Knight has built for himself, and you can't even give him a United States title opportunity and or reign, I'm sorry, that is completely and utterly inexcusable. And LA Knight has every single right to be frustrated. Moving on here. Shelton Benjamin, he has been released for a little bit now. He has not been involved. He has not been involved in professional wrestling for a little bit as we speak. According to Fightful, Shelton Benjamin and AEW have had a couple of discussions in recent weeks. Now, I'm not sure how far along these discussions are. I am not sure how long they've been having these discussions. I'm not sure what the mentality of AEW and Shelton Benjamin is right now. But I know that Tony Khan, he must respect Shelton Benjamin a lot. I respect Shelton Benjamin a lot. He is a fantastic professional wrestler, and even at his age, he has managed to keep himself in phenomenal shape. But does AEW really need Shelton Benjamin? Normally I would be okay with this, but there is a lingering issue over AEW right now, even though 2024 has been a very solid year for AEW, even though 2024 has been very good for the show, for the most part, there is still a looming sense of disorganization within the company. There is still a looming sense of a company that has zero structure. Now, granted, Revolution and these last couple of weeks, these last 2 weeks of AEW television have been very focused. We've had a great sense of structure. We've had matches and storylines continuing from week to week, show to show. We've been getting matches announced well in advance. We've been getting a lot of good advertising as well. I mean, you take a look at the ticket sales. The ticket sales have gotten a lot better. You take a look at the ticket sales for the Canadian shows, and we got 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 tickets sold for each show. So they're treading in the right direction, but there is a major sense of disorganization between the AEW and the Ring of Honor rosters. See, AEW is certainly getting better, but Ring of Honor and AEW still cross-correlate. We need to split those rosters in two. We need a certain sense of structure where certain people are on certain shows, certain people should be on Ring of Honor, certain people should be on AEW, and you should not cross-correlate unless you have plans to move Ring of Honor people over to AEW programming or vice versa. We should get certain feuds on certain shows, certain feuds that flow from week to week. There is still a sense of disorganization. So I don't think bringing in Shelton Benjamin right now is the best decision. No disrespect to Shelton Benjamin, though. Shelton Benjamin is great at what he does. Shelton Benjamin is awesome. But I don't think AEW really needs Shelton Benjamin right now because of that sense of disorganization within the company. Now, the organization has been a lot better. The structure has been a lot better. AEW this year has gotten themselves on a nice hot streak. They're putting on really, really, really good shows, especially coming out of Revolution. However, there is still a sense of disorganization between AEW and Ring of Honor. If Shelton Benjamin is to be brought in, he's not going to go anywhere on AEW TV. He's going to be set for Ring of Honor. Now, that could very well help Ring of Honor out in the long run, but as we speak right now, Tony Khan has not treated Ring of Honor like a priority. He's treated it like AEW Dark 2.0, and that's not right. So as we speak right now, does AEW really need Shelton Benjamin? The answer is no. I'll tell you what else the wrestling world doesn't need right now. The wrestling world does not need AJ Francis, a.k.a. Top Dollar, Flop Dollar, Dollar Tree, Dollar King, Dollar General, whatever the fuck you want to call him. The wrestling world needs less of AJ Francis. But apparently, WWE WWE invited AJ Francis backstage to Monday Night Raw this past Monday. Why? I don't fucking know. And to be quite honest with you, I'm not going to go asking questions, and I hope to God that this is not going to result in a return. Now, I am going to reserve my judgment here, but I think I may have something that may cross-correlate AJ Francis's appearance backstage at Raw, and then there is a very, very, very interesting announcement that came out the other day regarding WrestleMania weekend and a GCW event, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But AJ Francis was backstage at Monday Night Raw this past Monday. Why? I don't know, and I do not give a shit. Sheamus. He's been out with injury since last August when he last fought Edge, a.k.a. Adam Copeland, in Adam Copeland's final WWE match before Adam Copeland went and signed with AEW. Adam Copeland is now getting set to fight Christian Cage in an I Quit match next week. Sheamus recently deactivated his X account. Why? I don't know. I have absolutely no idea. To be quite honest with you, there's really nothing that comes to my mind that would prompt Sheamus to deactivate his X account. Now, I don't blame him because, to be quite honest with you, social media is a cesspool of stupidity. So I would not blame anyone who deleted their social media accounts. To be quite honest with you, if I didn't have this brand, I would delete my social media accounts because there's nothing good about it. People have really lost sight of what social media really should be. And social media, as we speak right now, has become perhaps one of the worst things on the planet right now. But Sheamus, there really hasn't been anything that has come out regarding Sheamus that would prompt him to delete his X account. The only thing that I could think of, and again, this is really a shot in the dark, is maybe Sheamus doesn't want to be involved in the WWE anymore. Then again, we haven't really heard anything regarding Sheamus. We haven't heard anything regarding Sheamus's contract. We haven't heard anything regarding Sheamus's status with the WWE. We haven't heard anything regarding Sheamus's feelings towards staying with the WWE or leaving the WWE to go do other things, maybe go and try AEW or New Japan. We haven't heard anything. We've heard nothing. So I can't really give you a straightforward answer here, but to a certain extent, I kind of hope that Sheamus leaves. Because if they weren't going to give him the Intercontinental Championship, then what's the point of him staying? If they're not going to have him be the guy that beats Gunther, then why is he there? Why is he still there? Because if Sheamus doesn't win the Intercontinental title, what's he going to do? Sheamus is essentially going to be a glorified enhancement talent. And Sheamus deserves a hell of a lot better than that. If Sheamus goes to AEW, listen, I think that Sheamus could put on some, not to be sarcastic, not to be punny, but he could put on some bangers. He could put on some bangers over there. There's a lot more opportunities in AEW than there is in WWE for Sheamus as we speak. Sheamus, once he wins the Intercontinental title, if they give him the Intercontinental title, he is essentially going to be a well-rounded individual. He would have done everything there is to do. He's perhaps the greatest Irish professional wrestler in WWE history. No Irish professional wrestler has done more than Sheamus. And yes, I'm including him over Becky Lynch. Sheamus is fantastic. And Sheamus deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. But maybe he's done. Maybe he doesn't want to be involved in WWE anymore. Who knows? I guess it's something that we're going to have to keep our eyes on. Thank you very much to El Capitan Refucho. Thank you very much. On the Sidelines podcast. And Didi, thank you very much for stopping on by. If you guys haven't already done so, please make sure to send in your super stickers and your super chats. I am now giving all of you the ability to send those super chats in. So, people, if you want to show me some support, hit that super chat button. Come on into my YouTube channel, hit the super chat, show me some love. After all the work that I've put in, I think I deserve a little bit of money. I think I deserve a couple of extra dollars for my hard work. Moving on here. Miro and CJ Perry. CJ Perry and Miro are currently both dealing with injuries. CJ Perry is out with a finger injury, and Miro is currently out with an undisclosed injury. Per TMZ, Miro and CJ Perry broke up in the winter of 2023. CJ Perry confirmed that the split, that it was not anything of the sort of cheating. There was nothing regarding an explosive fight. CJ confirmed the split by saying that they've decided to move on as friends and hopefully on-screen characters somewhere down the road. TMZ sources says that there wasn't an explosive fight, nor was there any evidence of cheating. They simply grew apart over the years, and they will be getting divorced very soon. Now, I really don't care about anything that goes on in a wrestler's personal life because it's not my business. I don't care. I care about what goes on TV. I care about getting a good show, and I care about those individuals portraying the characters that we all know and love on television. Whatever goes on in their personal life, that is their business. That is not my business. Breakups suck. Breakups suck. Divorces suck. It sucks. No one ever wants to go through that shit. But I guess the best possible thing that could have happened is the fact that there was no cheating. There was no fight. They simply grew apart over the years, and the split was mutual. I wish them both the best. I wish Miro the best, and I wish CJ Perry the best. I am not sure what is going to happen as far as those two go in the future. I'm not sure what is going to happen. I'm not sure if they are going to work together in the future. Realistically, if they're signed to AEW, them working together in the future realistically would be the best possible outcome. But as we speak right now, they're splitting up. They're getting divorced. I wish CJ Perry and Miro the best, and I hope that they find immense success in their lives and careers after their divorce. Vince McMahon. I'm sure individuals are sick and tired of hearing about Vincent Kennedy McMahon. According to Timothy Marchman, Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics, and John Pollock from Front Office Sports, the Vince McMahon / Janelle Grant lawsuit has taken a different turn. The lawsuit listed the following people as the unnamed corporate officers. These corporate officers may have had something to do, well, let's be honest here, they definitely had something to do with the Vince McMahon Janelle Grant scandal. The lawsuit listed the following people as the unnamed corporate officers. Number 1, Nick Khan. Number 2, Brad Blum. Number 3, Stephanie McMahon. And number 4, Brian Nurse. Pay attention to numbers 1 and 2. The lawsuit claims that Nick Khan and Brad Blum were instrumental to a scheme which involved the plaintiff, a woman named Janelle Grant, who was employed in a completely undefined role, except for the understanding that she remained a sexual slave to be used and trafficked by Vincent Kennedy McMahon within the WWE. I mean, let's be honest here. Brad Blum, he's another one of Vince McMahon's butt puppets. Nick Khan, let's be honest right here. Nick Khan may be a good businessman, but Nick Khan, he is working directly with Vince McMahon. If you don't think that Nick Khan knew something about the Janelle Grant lawsuit, clearly, you have another thing coming, and clearly you are not very well educated. I'm not really sure where Brian Nurse falls into this, but Stephanie McMahon, I wouldn't be shocked if Stephanie McMahon did know about the Vince McMahon scandal. And to be quite honest with you, this is a case of Vince McMahon playing the game of, if I'm going down, you're all going down with me. I think it's pretty obvious. I'm not the only one that has stated that. This is a case of Vince McMahon dragging everyone down to the depths of hell with him. Because if he cannot run the WWE, then absolutely nobody can. Nick Khan, Brad Blum, Stephanie McMahon, and Brian Nurse were all named as the unnamed corporate officers involved in the Vince McMahon Janelle Grant sexual scandal lawsuit. It's clear as day what Vince McMahon's motive is. It's clear as day why he sold all that stock a week and a half back. Vince McMahon, clear as day, is organizing his case, and he's looking to take everyone else down with him. And I'm not the only one that's been saying that. If Vince McMahon cannot run the WWE in his eyes, then no one can run the WWE. He is looking to damage the WWE as much as possible because he was forced out not once, but twice. Once because of the lawsuit and the scandal, and the other by Ari Emanuel. So now he's taking everyone down with him. I got a report from PW Insider. This is actually a positive report. According to PW Insider, the WWE is looking into potentially moving their domestic pay-per-views, that being the pay-per-views involved in the United States, Canada, Mexico region. They're looking to move their domestic pay-per-views to an earlier start time of 7 p.m. Eastern Time. However, no final determination has been made. Now, if this is the case, I really do hope that this becomes reality. I, honest to God, don't know why these pay-per-views are starting at 8 p.m. anymore. The WWE could very well be moving their pay-per-views back to 7 p.m. They should have never been moved from 7 to 8. If we're going to be quite honest with you, AEW should be doing the same thing. They should move their pay-per-views from 7 or from 8 to 7, at least the main shows. And then you could do the pre-shows at 6 o'clock if you want to do a buy-in, if you want to do a 0 hour, or if WWE wants to do a pre-show, then they should move their pre-shows to 6 p.m. and do the main shows at 7 p.m. With how much content is consumed within these two companies, especially WWE and AEW's pay-per-view content, putting them at 8 o'clock, it's just so outdated because they tend to give a lot of these matches a lot of time. And I think a lot of people would rather be out there by 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. rather than midnight if we're going to have a pay-per-view that's going to last 4 hours. So I hope that all pay-per-views and premium live events are moved. Brock Lesnar. I'm sure nobody wants to hear about Brock Lesnar. There was a little bit of a scare on Wrestling Observer Radio. Brian Alvarez took time to comment on the Wrestling Observer newsletter when Brock Lesnar was recently put back on the WWE roster page. Brian Alvarez actually stated that WWE is making moves to bring Brock Lesnar back to the WWE as we get nearer and nearer to WrestleMania. Now, Aaron Varble of SE Scoops, he reported that Brock Lesnar will not be making a return. So Aaron Varble, he actually contradicted Brian Alvarez's report. Aaron Varble had this to state, and I quote, "Brock Lesnar is not any closer to making a return to WWE than he was when they yanked him from the road to WrestleMania 40. He is not being thought of in any creative capacity. No stories, no pitches. His name is not being brought up. after the report of the movement within WWE to bring him back, I asked around and was told that there is no movement to bring Brock Lesnar back within WWE. Rightfully so. Rightfully so. I don't understand why anyone would want Brock Lesnar back in the WWE, even on WWE's side of the fence. And I'm not even talking about the lawsuit. I'm not even talking about that. Aaron Varble said that there is no movement to bring Brock Lesnar back to the WWE. I am very happy to hear that. I was happy to hear that Bryan Alvarez was wrong. No disrespect to Bryan Alvarez, but I'm happy to hear that he was wrong. And this isn't even because of the lawsuit. I don't want Brock Lesnar back in WWE because he adds nothing of value to the WWE. He doesn't. Brock Lesnar has nothing going for himself on WWE TV right now. What is there left for Brock Lesnar to do outside of a match with Gunther? And to be quite honest with you, I don't even know if I want to see that. He does the same moves over and over again. He's virtually fought everyone there is to fight. After the last feud with Cody, where we got zero explanation as to why he even attacked Cody, I don't know why anyone would want him back on TV. He doesn't do anything. He adds nothing of value to the show. So the fact that they're not bringing Lesnar back, that is a great decision. This report kind of came out of nowhere. An announcement was made a couple of days ago where Shayna Baszler was booked for a GCW event during WrestleMania 40 weekend. Pretty much came out of the blue, and everyone was asking, well, what the fuck is going on? Am I seeing this correctly? Shayna Baszler is still a part of the WWE. She has not been released. She has not been fired. PW Insider came out with a report in relation to what we saw regarding that promotional tweet of Shayna Baszler showing up at a GCW event. PW Insider's report stated that there may be additional announcements coming out with other WWE talent working for GCW during the WrestleMania 40 weekend. Now, the question here is why? Why all of a sudden, pretty much out of nowhere, are we getting people like Shayna Baszler, WWE contracted professional wrestlers? Why are we getting these individuals all of a sudden working for GCW? Now, we did get a little bit of this. When we saw Shinsuke Nakamura get sent over to Pro Wrestling Noah to fight the Great Muta. But then again, that was how long ago? That was how long ago? That was, what, a year and a half ago? That was a year and a half ago, and ever since then, we didn't see a single instance of WWE allowing their employees to work other promotions. Matter of fact, Vince McMahon has been gone legitimately. Vince McMahon has been removed from creative. Vince McMahon's been removed from creative by Ari Emanuel for 6 months now. He's been removed from creative for 6 months now. So why exactly didn't Triple H pick up where he left off 6 months ago and start offering individuals within the WWE to work for other promotions? Why exactly did he wait till now? Why exactly did he wait till WrestleMania weekend? And then I started thinking to myself, now, this isn't confirmed. This is merely me speculating. This is merely me speculating. Yes, William Regal's son, he was working for AJPW, but two appearances, and it really wasn't anything over the top or crazy. AJPW and Pro Wrestling Noah, I mean, that's in fucking Japan. And if we're going to be quite honest with you, AJPW and Pro Wrestling Noah, that's kind of high end. Or at least in WWE's eyes. GCW, if we're going to be quite honest right here, GCW is the lowest of the low when it comes to independent wrestling. GCW is, in a sense, garbage wrestling. Why is Shayna Baszler being allowed to work GCW? Then I started thinking to myself, you know, this conveniently took place after the Mercedes Moné promo on AEW Dynamite. For some weird reason, the wheels in my head started turning, and I started thinking to myself, well, Mercedes Moné made a rather interesting comment saying that AEW is the only place where she can take the women's revolution global. And what that really means is she can work for New Japan while still working for AEW. She can work for an Impact if she wants to. She can work for an AJPW if she wants to. She can work for Stardom. She can go to CMLL and fight for some of the female superstars and female wrestlers over there. That's what she meant by take the revolution global. Then, conveniently, a day and a half after Mercedes Moné's promo, conveniently, WWE announces that Shayna Baszler is going to be appearing for GCW's event during WrestleMania weekend. We've never seen this before. I don't know about you guys, but something is telling me that WWE might be getting a little desperate here. It just feels like this is a desperation tactic for WWE to say, hey, look, we can play nice with others. We're offering one of our professional wrestlers to an indie mark company known as GCW. Seems as though WWE may be getting a little desperate because Tony Khan, he's got all these fucking partnerships. He's got New Japan Pro Wrestling. He's got CMLL. He's got AAA. He's got Stardom. Tony Khan's got all these fucking partnerships working in unison with each other. Seems to me like WWE may want to get in on the fun there. Now, WWE really doesn't need to. They're always going to be financially successful, but creatively, I don't know. They got a little bit of bad juju around them with the Vince McMahon lawsuit and how lackluster WrestleMania season has been. And we'll talk about that a little bit later, but it just comes off like a desperation tactic. It really does. Why is Shayna Baszler booked for a GCW event on WrestleMania weekend? Now, I'm happy that WWE is allowing her to work another promotion, but it really is coincidental that Shayna Baszler, literally a day and a half after Mercedes Moné's promo on Dynamite, in which she said, hey, AEW is the only place where I'm going to take this revolution global, rather coincidental that Shayna Baszler was booked at a GCW event, and it's really coming off like WWE is desperate. WWE is desperate to gain some new partnerships and new connections that they're pretty much shoving Shayna Baszler out there and saying, hey, look, we're offering Shayna Baszler to an indie mark company known as GCWC. We can play well with others. I don't know about you guys, but it really is coming off as a scenario in which WWE doesn't really want to do it, but they're doing it to try and prove that they have some good intentions involved. I don't know. That's just me. Just seems rather odd that Shayna Baszler was booked for it immediately after Mercedes Moné's promo. Pretty much like that. 24 hours later, booked. Those are all your news, rumors, and reports. Those are all of your news, rumors, and reports. And we got 31 overall people in the chat right now. We have 12 people watching on Twitter right now. Whoever's watching on Twitter, thank you very much. I greatly appreciate you. We got 12 people watching on my Twitter right now. We got ourselves a couple people watching on Rumble. We got ourselves 7 people watching on YouTube. People, please make sure you share the stream out. Share the stream out. Get as many people in here as possible. And if you haven't already done so, people, send those super chats in. Send in the super chats. Send in the super stickers. Show me some love, all right? Show me some love. Let us move on. let us move on to our weekly show reviews. We got ourselves 4 weekly shows to go over. We got ourselves Raw, we got Dynamite, we got SmackDown, and we got ourselves Rampage. Let's talk about Monday Night Raw first. I'm gonna completely be honest with you right here. I don't know what it is, but I've been watching WWE TV very, very closely since the start of the year. I have. And I was very, very, very happy with the way that WWE TV was treading going into 2024. Matter of fact, you take a look at that first week of WWE TV. You had Day 1 Raw, you had SmackDown New Year's Revolution, and we started off the build towards the Royal Rumble. I was very, very happy that WWE TV, it felt more focused. They were putting more wrestling on the show. It felt different. Then, coming out of the Royal Rumble, I don't know what it is. It's almost like they just gave up. It honest to God, feels like they just gave up, and they're giving us the bare minimum going into WrestleMania 40. This week's WWE TV, Raw and SmackDown this week, not that good at all. I don't know what the fuck happened. I don't know what the fuck Triple H is doing, but WrestleMania 40's build, it has been very, very disappointing. And please, people, I do not want to hear any excuses regarding the injury to CM Punk. I do not want to hear any excuses regarding, the Vince McMahon Janelle Grant lawsuit. I do not want to hear any fucking excuses. There are no fucking excuses as to why Triple H shouldn't be succeeding in this build to WrestleMania 40, especially considering that Vince McMahon is nowhere to be found whatsoever, okay? The build to WrestleMania 40 has been an utter disappointment. I don't know what the fuck happened, but it has nothing to do with the Vince McMahon Janelle Grant lawsuit, and it has nothing to do with CM Punk getting injured. The fact that you have perhaps the best overall roster that you have in the history of WWE, the best overall roster that you've ever put together, and yet you're giving us shows that are this piss poor. Nothing else feels important. And you know why nothing else feels important? Because you put all your effort into The Rock, because you put all your effort into Roman, because you put all your effort into Cody and Seth, and no one else gets any other spotlight. When you put your effort into a couple of people only and neglect everyone else, the rest of the show is going to ultimately come off as lackluster. Triple H has not done a good job with the WrestleMania 40 season build, and that's a fact. Drew McIntyre, he kicked off Monday Night Raw. And Drew McIntyre, he trashed Seth Rollins for accepting the Bloodlines challenge, pretty much saying the same thing that he's been saying. He then says, Drew McIntyre, what did he say? Did I write down shit right? Yeah, I did. So the crowd was chanting what? Drew McIntyre then said, the bigger picture is not Cody Rhodes, it's not Roman Reigns, and it's not even Drew McIntyre. The bigger picture here is The Rock. The bigger picture is The Rock, he said. We started in carnivals, and then we went to the arenas. What do you think the next evolution is? Working with one of the most successful people on planet Earth. Pro wrestling is bigger than Seth Rollins, said Drew McIntyre. Realize that, and you'll become the legend that you are in your own mind, said Drew McIntyre. Seth Rollins then came out, singing his song, was the crowd, doing the typical bullshit, waving of the hands. Seth Rollins coming out, dressed in these flashy fucking clothes. So Rollins then told Drew McIntyre to shut his mouth. Rollins told Drew McIntyre to shut his mouth. And then he said that Drew McIntyre is over here pretty much begging for attention. So then he goes, why don't you give me that one more Claymore that you have been desperately wanting to give me? So he's trying to egg Drew McIntyre on. He wants Drew McIntyre to hit him with a Claymore. So he goes, hold on a minute. I realize that you're a coward, so let me turn my back to you. So Drew then said Rollins was right. You told me that I need to get over the bloodline. He then laughed like Seth Rollins. He then said, I took your advice, and I did it for Raw, and I returned the favor. I gave you your own advice, but you didn't listen. All Seth Rollins cares about is Seth Rollins. Rollins then said that you're starting to remind him of someone. The crowd chanted CM Punk. Rollins said, I thought Punk was the biggest hypocrite in the world until I met you. You're looking to be an honorary member of the bloodline. I have a feeling that you want them to get involved in our match. You beat Cody, you beat Jay, but can you do it without the bloodline? I think that you'd love to have the bloodline take this, the world title, off of me. But it won't happen because night one, me and Cody are going to take down the bloodline, and then the same thing will happen to you on night two. And the last thing that you'll hear is the people singing my song. Crowd then sang a song. Drew McIntyre then said he knows what Rollins is trying to do. Rollins wants him to swing, but there is nothing that he can say that will provoke him. Drew then walked away. Rollins then said, you know why I haven't paid you much attention as of lately? It's because you're the thing that I'm worried about the least. Drew McIntyre then teased getting back into the ring, but ultimately he walked away. I'm not going to sit here and say the promo was bad, but again, how many times have we heard the same song and dance with Rollins and Drew McIntyre? At this point, it's almost like they're just pretty much saying to themselves, yeah, we got nothing else to do. We're just going to bide our time and give you the bare minimum going into WrestleMania. It's like they have nothing left to offer. It's like Triple H is just saying, here you go. We've had these two individuals say the same thing over and over again for a couple weeks now. But hey, the match at WrestleMania is going to be great. That's pretty much what he's saying. It's pretty much what he's saying. Becky Lynch versus Liv Morgan. Becky Lynch versus Liv Morgan. This was a very solid match. Matter of fact, this was probably one of only two things on the show that was actually worth going back to rewatch. So Liv Morgan, she took over with a suicide dive on Becky. Coming back from commercial, Liv mounted a comeback. Morgan then with a code breaker. Both women were down. Another code breaker by Morgan. Becky kicked out. Then we had both women on the apron. Morgan with a sunset flip powerbomb to Becky off of the apron to the floor, which looked very, very good. Crowd was chanting, this is awesome. Becky with a manhandle slam, but Liv rolled out of the ring. Coming back from commercial, Becky with a cross arm breaker. Liv got out of it and locked in a Rings of Saturn. Liv then with a float over DDT. She then went for Oblivion. She got it, but Becky rolled out of the ring. Then Becky, back in the ring, she hit the manhandle slam, and Becky Lynch beats Liv Morgan in a solid match for what it was, and that was pretty much that. Afterwards, Rhea Ripley then came out. She had a little face-to-face with Liv Morgan, and I'm assuming that Liv Morgan is going to be an opponent for Rhea Ripley after WrestleMania is over, because in no way, shape, or form should Becky Lynch be beating Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. Rhea Ripley then asked Becky if this was all worth it. You get into these fights, and you said that you would fight anyone, anywhere, anytime. You said you do it for your family? Or are you doing it because you have to prove that you are still the best. But deep down, you know that I am better than you. So, Rhea Ripley is pretty much just egging on Becky Lynch, trying to get under her skin. Rhea Ripley said, all you want, Becky, is an excuse as to why you couldn't beat me, and you'll be nothing but a disappointment. Becky then said, I doubted myself, and that doubt that I had planted a seed, and it turned into a tree. But you see, when people believe in me, I'm good. But when people doubt me, I'm great. And then if it's me against the world, then the world doesn't stand a chance. And that was pretty much it. It was pretty much 6-7 sentences of dialogue. It's pretty much it. Very, very weak promo. They gave us the bare minimum. Here's a question. Why is it that we had 3 weeks of a break in between the first promo and the second promo? Why are we not getting these zingers like we would usually get? Why are we not getting these cutthroat promos that we should be getting with Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley? Why are we not getting these real, gritty, passionate promos that we should be getting with Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch? I swear to God, it almost feels like Rhea Ripley and Nia Jax had a better build towards the Elimination Chamber match that they had, more so than Becky and Rhea's had. What are they doing? I have no idea who thinks that this is a good idea, who thinks that this is good television, but they have absolutely failed in the build towards Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch. It's the same shit that they did last year with Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley. They gave you the bare minimum last year going into WrestleMania 39 because, we're going to have a great match. We're going to produce a great match. They're going to tear the house down. So you know what? We don't really need to give anyone that much of a build. And it really just fuels what I've always said about the WWE. And this is why I really have a hard time watching WWE TV, especially in the last few weeks. Because WWE, and you could just feel it. You can feel it oozing off of the television. WWE gives you the bare minimum. They barely put any effort into anything that they do because they are lazy. They don't care. They already sold 60,000 tickets. They sold 60,000 tickets. They are already set in their ways that they're going to have a great WrestleMania. They got all this money flowing into their pockets. The more money that they make, the less and less that they give a shit. That's pretty much it. Whether you want to admit it or not, the build for WrestleMania has been shit for no other reason other than the fact that WWE creative is lazy. That's just who they are. It doesn't matter who is in charge. That laziness, that complacency will always exist in the WWE unless we get a complete, and I mean a complete, overhaul of management. No Stephanie, no Nick Khan, no Bruce Pritchard, no Brad Blum, no Triple H. We need a complete overhaul in order for that mentality of laziness to be completely erased. Triple H, he didn't have that laziness in NXT. He didn't. However, when Vince McMahon virtually killed Triple H's passion and took away all of his power back in the day, realistically, Triple H, he was instilled some tactics from Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon partially poisoned Triple H's mind. And now we're starting to see that come into play. Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis, they made an announcement. They made an announcement that the Judgment Day will defend the tag team titles against 5 other teams in a 6-pack ladder match. And there will be qualifying matches to see who fights in the match. Raging Girl Gamer, thank you very much for coming on in. By the way, I am now monetized. I'm now monetized, so you can send your super chats or your super stickers down below. Please go and check me out. Please go and check me out. I would greatly appreciate it. Please go and send in your super chats, and if you're lucky, I may read them at the end of the stream. So, this six-pack ladder match with the Judgment Day and 5 other teams, I am sure that we're going to get a chaotic ladder match. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be woolly, wild, and all over the place, as Earl Cole says. But was this really necessary? Why are we getting this ladder match? It doesn't even make sense to have. There's multiple stories going on in the tag team division that would warrant a regular one-on-one tag team match. Or if anything, I would have been happy with a triple threat tag team match. Why are we getting a six-pack ladder match? And I know there's going to be some people out there. I know that there's going to be some people out there that are going to go on and say, well, you know, when AEW did it back at Full Gear in November, I didn't see you complaining then. There is a difference between what happened back then at Full Gear with that 4-way ladder match versus what is happening now. And the difference is story. You see, when Ricky Starks and Big Bill won the tag team titles from FTR, there was no story for the tag team titles going into Full Gear. So they took the LFI, they took the House of Black, and they took FTR, and they put them together in a fatal 4-way ladder match. It was literally built in 3 weeks. So if you have a scenario like that, where there's no story, but you want to get these teams on the show, then I would be semi-okay with it. There was no story, so what are you going to do? You can't leave the tag team champions off the fucking show. You can't. You cannot leave the tag team championships off the show. So what did they do? They put 4 teams in there at Full Gear in a fatal 4-way ladder match. Meanwhile, you take a look at WWE's tag team division, which has essentially been revitalized. WWE had multiple storylines going on in the tag team division. They had the storyline of DIY and their rise to the top, their rise to the tag team titles. You have the New Catch Republic, and the fact that Tyler Bate has essentially resurrected Pete Dunne's career, and now Pete Dunne is back to being Pete fucking Dunne. Hell, I'll even throw in the Awesome Truth. And R-Truth has had a storyline with the Judgment Day going back since November. It's a shit storyline. It's a terrible fucking storyline. It's an embarrassment of a storyline that should have never made television, but it's a storyline nonetheless. But no, let's just throw in 5 other teams with the Judgment Day in a 6-pack ladder match and negate all the other story that we've seen going on in the last several months. I'm sorry, but this is going to be an absolute mess. This is going to be a fucking mess. I'm sorry. I'll tell you what else is a fucking mess. Maxine Dupree is on television. Maxine Dupree and Ivy Nile, they took on Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. Candice LeRae actually got in Maxine's face, and she was talking about how she doesn't belong there, and all the girls in the locker room are laughing at you, and she said that your dead brother would be embarrassed if he was around to see this. Maxine was legit about to cry, and then she walked off. Indy hit her with a big boot, and she got the win. This was fucking awful. And I'm looking at this, and I'm like, how is this a Triple H produced Monday Night Raw? What the fuck are we doing? Why are we bringing a scenario in which Maxine Dupree is being validly criticized, is being rightfully criticized for her terrible in-ring ability? Why are we bringing that to television in a storyline with Candice LeRae? I don't even give a shit if it's making fun of Maxine. The fact that they are bringing that, they're essentially trying to make a mockery out of it. And they had Michael Cole saying, hey, Maxine's proving that she belongs. No, she's fucking not. She's not a good wrestler. It's the same thing. It's the same thing as when CJ Perry was in WWE and she was wrestling. I mean, come on. Listen to this. Imagine this. Instead of having the women of WWE TV, instead of having the overall division go out there and showcase to everyone why they are the best women's wrestlers on the planet, you have Candice LeRae bullying Maxine Dupree. Again, it's a storyline, and I don't give a shit about it. Let the storyline be. It's a storyline, and I'm not gonna throw out a cancel Candice LeRae hashtag. I don't give a fuck about that. But the fact that you have a soap opera drama, you have essentially a teen Nick drama storyline, a Degrassi-esque storyline. You have yourselves a bullying storyline. You have a soap opera drama storyline on TV in the women's division instead of letting the women go out there and fucking wrestle. I am sorry. That is absolutely inexcusable. That is inexcusable. That pisses me off. Maxine Dupree should be nowhere near television. And Candice LeRae should be being built up in the singles division. Candice LeRae, there is no excuse as to why they can't build up Candice LeRae to be a contender for Rhea Ripley. No excuse. This was fucking awful. What a terrible idea. Get Maxine off of TV. Michael Cole. Michael Cole interviewed Cody Rhodes. Cody said that, it feels good to slap your boss. He then praised The Rock as a wrestler, pretty much coming off very, very professional instead of being a very cutthroat individual here. He said that Rollins has always had his respect, and he'll happily go in there with Rollins and go to war with him. He goes, this is my chance to finally have a fair shot at Roman Reigns. Cody then asked Michael Cole if he looked nervous, because he is. He said he's scared because the story is no longer about the title. The story is about all of you. And he pointed to the fans, all of you that have followed me to the absolute ends of the earth. Fans like my sister, fans like my mother. And he started crying. He started crying, which gave The Rock ammunition to shit on him on SmackDown on Friday. Cody then stated how my wife, my number one fan, Brandy Rhodes, the story is beyond me, but it is up to me. Roman, we are no longer in the third inning. We are in the last inning. Let me tell you something, Cody. We have been well past the last inning. We have been in the fucking 43rd inning for the last 365 days. The final inning should have taken place last year. Whatever the fuck Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns are trying to spew to you is a bunch of bullshit. We're not in the third inning. We're in the fucking 43rd inning. This baseball game has gone well into the wee hours of the morning. The sun is about to rise. I'm fucking tired and I want to go home. He said, Michael, at WrestleMania, you'll get to say that a Rhodes is finally the undisputed Universal Champion. You'll be able to say that Cody Rhodes finished his story. And that was that. Pretty typical Cody Rhodes promo. Minus the crying, he actually came off fairly okay. Although I am still kind of disappointed that we have not gotten a real zinger that really hits home when it comes to Cody Rhodes and The Rock and the build that we've seen. It's been very, very cutthroat and dry. It's been very, 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 very lame when it comes to Cody and Rollins. Rock is like the center of attention here. Rock has essentially made himself more important than everyone else, and I hate that. That's not right. Becky Lynch and Liv Morgan. Becky Lynch and Liv Morgan were attacked by Nia Jax in the back. I'll give you one guess as to what this resulted in. What did it result in? Let me take a sip of my ice water and then you can tell me. Fuck it, I'm going to tell you anyway. This resulted in Becky Lynch versus Nia Jax again. Third time this year. Third time within 2.5 months. Oh, but this time it's a last man standing match, or it's a last woman standing match. Swear to God. Rematches. Rematches, rematches, rematches. How many fucking rematches do we need to see? We've seen it on Raw, and we've seen it on SmackDown. We need the brand split to fucking end. We need to get rid of the brand split, and we need to get rid of the brand split immediately. Damian Priest versus R-Truth. Damian Priest wins South of Heaven. Who gives a fuck? The fact that R-Truth has been losing and losing and losing to the Judgment Day, at this point, why is R-Truth still floating around the Judgment Day? Why the fuck is he still floating around the Judgment Day? Seriously. Why? I skipped over Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark versus the Kabuki Warriors. Why should I talk about that? It was a complete dud of a match. Nobody gives a fuck. The women's tag team titles need to be burned. The women's tag team division is never going to get over. And it's time that people acknowledge that. The women's division, as far as a tag team wrestling perspective goes, is shit in the WWE. We do not need a women's tag team division. We need the tag team division to go bye-bye, and we need to start building up other women in the singles division, women that have not gotten an opportunity in the singles division. Women like Shayna Baszler, women like a Zoe Stark, women like a Candice LeRae, women like an Ivy Nile, women like that. Jey Uso, the master of Yeet, Jey Uso. He came out and he basically challenged his brother Jimmy to a match at WrestleMania. Very simple promo, barely went 3 minutes. And that was pretty much that. It was very, very short, sweet, and to the point. And we're going to get Jay versus Jimmy at WrestleMania 40, which is the original plan that we should have gotten coming out of SummerSlam last year. Gauntlet match. Gauntlet match. The winner of this gauntlet match gets to fight Gunther for the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania 40. And this was probably the only thing, minus Becky and Liv, that was worth going out of your way to watch on this show. So, it was Ricochet. Ricochet started this match against J.D. McDonough. So, they kicked off the match. McDonough actually got a decent showcase here. We then had J.D. McDonough hitting a Uranagi and a standing moonsault on Ricochet for a 2 count. We had a nice brainbuster by J.D. for a 2, and a Spanish fly. J.D. McDonough, if you haven't realized it by now, J.D. McDonough is a great professional wrestler. Ricochet, then with a Death Valley driver on the apron to J.D. and a springboard moonsault. Brainbuster, J.D. kicked out. J.D. then bounced off the top rope. Ricochet with a shooting star press. Shooting star press, and Ricochet advances. Out comes Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed, he took the fight to Ricochet. He delivered a running senton and a tsunami splash, and Bronson Reed advances. Out comes Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn and Bronson Reed mixed it up. Bronson Reed was in control. He was going up to the top rope. with Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn hit Bronson Reed with a sunset flip powerbomb, which looked very nice. And Bronson Reed is eliminated. Sami advances. Out comes Shinsuke Nakamura, but Sami Zayn was attacked. Sami Zayn was attacked by Bronson Reed, and Sami Zayn ended up receiving another tsunami splash. So we had Ricochet being taken out by a tsunami splash, and Sami Zayn, he suffered the tsunami splash as well. After that, Nakamura tried to take advantage. Sami Zayn did not allow that to happen. Nakamura with an axe kick. Nakamura went for the Kinshasa, but Sami Zayn, he caught him with a haluva kick out of nowhere, and Sami Zayn advances. Gable was the last participant. Gable pretty much ran circles around Sami Zayn. Gable was really laying in the heavy leather on Sami Zayn. He locked Sami Zayn in multiple ankle locks and was wrenching on it hard. Sami Zayn ended up hitting the haluva kick, but his ankle gave way. He could not make the cover in time. Sami Zayn made the cover, but Gable reversed it. Great near fall. Gable with a bridging German. Zayn kicked out. The ankle lock was locked in again. Sami Zayn rolled up Chad Gable, and Sami Zayn wins. Sami Zayn is going to WrestleMania to fight Gunther for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. I do not want to come out here and say that Sami Zayn is a bad choice for Gunther, because he's not. Sami Zayn and Gunther, you give them the time of day to go out there and wrestle, and you are bound to get a 5-star match any day of the week. However, as great as Sami Zayn is, the people have gravitated more towards Gable, because Gable has not yet had his moment in the sun. Sami Zayn has been a 3-time Intercontinental Champion already. Sami Zayn, realistically, should be involved in the World Heavyweight Championship title picture. That should be the main story for Sami. Chad Gable, he had a story that extended back since September. Now, they dropped it. They dropped the story and then picked it up again. They should have kept that story going all throughout the fall, going into the new year. Chad and Gunther should have always been the plan for WrestleMania. But they went with Sami Zayn because Sami Zayn realistically doesn't have a place on the card. Now, I truthfully believe that Sami Zayn and Drew McIntyre was going to be the match at WrestleMania because CM Punk was going to get Seth Rollins. Now, we didn't get that. And ultimately, there were a lot of matches that needed to be shuffled around. Again, the injury is nobody's fault. However, I think that Triple H really needs to start reading the room a bit. I think Triple H really needs to take a step back, and he really needs to start reading the room, because if Triple H listened, he would have realized that Chad Gable was the best possible outcome for the match with Gunther. And Chad Gable getting that win against Gunther, I mean, it's fucking criminal that Chad Gable hasn't had a singles title reign in this company as it stands. Chad Gable is the best possible representative to beat Gunther. The only other guy that's better than Gable is Sheamus. But then again, with Sheamus deactivating his X account, I'm not sure what the fuck's going on with Sheamus. But Chad Gable should have been the guy. Ever since that feud, that little mini feud, those series of matches with Gunther back in the late summer, early fall, Chad Gable should have always been the plan. Gable should have always been the plan from the word go. And the fact that he wasn't is actually a big disappointment on Triple H's half. Triple H really needs to start listening, because in recent weeks, it has really come off as though Triple H is not listening to his audience. And you know what? The backlash that they received, that's no one's fault other than creative's fault. It's not on Sammy. It's not on Gable. It's not on Gunther. It is all on creative. As good as Sami Zayn is, Sami Zayn did not need this. Chad Gable needed this more. And if Triple H is smart, I'd like to believe that Gunther is going to retain at WrestleMania, and hopefully we build towards Gable and Gunther some point after WrestleMania, whenever that may be. Maybe Backlash in France, who knows? Maybe Backlash in France. Either way, we need to get the Intercontinental title off of Gunther before Gunther ends up fighting and winning the Money in the Bank briefcase, because there's nobody better to win Money in the Bank than Gunther. There's nobody better. Great match, but it was the wrong outcome. That was Monday Night Raw for you. Very, very, very blah show. And it's actually quite disappointing that WWE TV is this fucking lame going into what realistically should be looked at as one of the greatest WrestleManias of all time, and the biggest WrestleMania of all time, if we're going to be quite honest here. It's really, 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 really sad. It is. I'm taking a look at this WrestleMania card up and down, and I could not give a single shit about the entire build whatsoever. I'm just sitting here saying, hey, I just want to get to the show. I'm not even bullshitting you right now. I'm actually more excited about Ring of Honor's Super Card of Honor than I am WrestleMania. Really. You take a look at Super Card of Honor. They booked 2 matches for Super Card of Honor this past Thursday on Ring of Honor TV. They booked Hikaru Shida versus Athena for the Ring of Honor Women's World title, and they booked Eddie Kingston defending the Ring of Honor World title against Mark Briscoe. I'm more invested in fucking Mark Briscoe finishing his story, more so than I am Cody Rhodes finishing his. That shouldn't be the case. That shouldn't be the case at all. Triple H has not done a good job whatsoever with the WrestleMania 40 build. And that's very, very, very sad. 2024 has not been that good of a year for WWE TV. It just hasn't. They can tout sold out shows all they want. They could say that a show is sold out till their heart goes out, till their heart gives out. They can say four times, 5 times, 6 times a fucking show, we're in front of a capacity sold out crowd. That's good for you, but the shows still suck. Very disappointing build to WrestleMania. 2024 has been a very disappointing year for WWE. It really has been. I'll tell you what wasn't a disappointment, though. AEW Big Business. AEW Dynamite Big Business from Boston, Massachusetts. Boston, Massachusetts brought the fucking energy, and we got ourselves a very, very, very good show. The Pied Pyro. How you doing, brother? I'm monetized now. If you wish to send me a super chat, go send me a super chat. I think I deserve a little extra cash for all the work that I do. AEW Dynamite, Big Business. Big Business was a very good show, and it was headlined by a certain boss, a certain CEO, making her debut in the best overall wrestling company on the planet today. We had ourselves a limo pulling up to the arena, and the limo door opened. The limo door opened, and the first thing that we see on AEW TV is Mercedes Moné arriving first thing on Dynamite, similar to CM Punk and the way that he arrived at Rampage, the first dance. She looked extremely happy. The crowd was chanting CEO. She said that she is home. She thanked everyone for having her back. She said that these last 2 years, you guys gave me the courage and the strength to be here. And trust me, you are the reason that I am here. If you only knew how much wrestling means to me, it saved my life, she said. It has given me hope, a place to dream, and my dreams led me to lead a women's evolution, main event a pay-per-view right here in this very building. I dropped out of school at 13 to take care of my brother. Then I set out to become the greatest women's wrestler of all time. If I can do it, then you can do it too. I need to be here because AEW is the only place that this revolution can be global, which is the truth, because the WWE and their women's division is shit. She said that our main event, Willow Nightingale and Riho. Willow, you and I have a lot of unfinished business, so it looks like that match is going to be confirmed sooner rather than later. She said that, but tonight, at Big Business, Mercedes Moné is all elite, so you can say hello to your new CEO. This was straightforward. This was to the point. You can sense the passion that flowed from her, and we got ourselves a full-blown women's evolution beginning at Big Business. You take a look at the women's division in 2024. Listen, I don't give a fuck what anyone thinks. The AEW women's division in 2024 has been booked better than the WWE women's division has been. Whether you want to admit it or not, WWE, they may have the star power, but AEW is where you go if you want legit women's wrestling. All you need to do is look at the main event of Big Business. Riho and Willow Nightingale. They got a louder reaction than 90% of the women that appeared on WWE TV this week across Raw and SmackDown. And do you know why? It's because AEW gives opportunities to everyone. They don't just give opportunities to a Ruby Soho, or they don't just give opportunities to a Toni Storm. They give opportunities to everyone. They give women the opportunity to go out there and wrestle like a Willow, like a Riho, like a Red Velvet, like a Mariah May. Mariah May, she's fucking unbelievable. She's fantastic. The AEW creative team, they give opportunities to more people than WWE does. And that is exactly why the women's division on WWE TV, they perform mostly in front of fucking crickets. And the AEW women's division, they perform whether or not it's 3,000, 5,000, 9,000, doesn't matter. The AEW women's division, they perform in front of people that actually care about what they're doing. And they are loud and they show respect to the women that are going in there and fighting. The WWE, they do not offer that same respect to women's wrestling like AEW does. Whether you want to admit it or not, the AEW women's division is above the WWE women's division right now. You don't like it? Make like your skank girlfriend and suck my cock. We had a great promo by Adam Cole, and it was story time with Adam Cole Bay. Story time with Adam Cole Bay, where he was describing Wardlow's career. He was describing Wardlow's career and Wardlow's journey. This was actually awesome. This was actually awesome right here. Here we go. Princess Skywalker Lowdown. My good friend Jess. I was chatting with her last night during SmackDown. And I did not pay attention whatsoever to whatever the fucking rock concert was. Did not give a shit. Thank you very much for showing support, Miss Skywalker Lowdown. Greatly appreciate you. I'm monetized, by the way. So y'all better be sending some super chats. If you don't, I don't know. Maybe I I may have to infiltrate your channel because let's be honest here. I'm realistically the only guy that's going to make that channel interesting. No, I'm fucking with you. Anyway. So Adam Cole Bay and his promo describing Wardlow's journey. That was a very nice touch. We need more of that. I'd love to see more of that type of shit because that shit really just adds layers to the Undisputed Kingdom and people like the Undisputed Kingdom. It adds a little sense of importance where they got themselves their own type of characters. They're sitting in this fancy library. They're wearing these nice suits, the nice dress pants and the dress suits. They're acting very high class. We need more of that shit because that depicts what the Undisputed Kingdom are. They're high-class individuals, but at the end of the day, they're going to go in there and they're going to kick your fucking ass. Wardlow and Samoa Joe, they fought for the AEW World Championship to start the show, and this was easily the best Samoa Joe versus Wardlow match that we've seen. Out of the 3 matches that we've seen, this was the best match out of all the matches that we've seen with Samoa Joe and Wardlow. This was very good. Both men were on point. Both men went out there. They were beating the shit out of each other. They were hitting heavy. Wardlow was doing what he does best. He was doing some power moves. He was flying off the top rope. Wardlow looked good. But the ending was rather questionable. Wardlow was choked out. He did not tap. He did not get pinned. He passed out. And then Swerve Strickland came marching out to the ring, and Joe walked away. I can't really sit here and claim that the ending was correct. Not because Wardlow didn't win, but it was because of the way that he lost. I didn't think whatsoever that Wardlow was going to win the championship. Now, he looked great. The match was very good. Both men looked great. But if you were going to have Wardlow lose, then it should have resulted in either MJF or Adam Cole coming out to cost him. Now, I don't know what the deal is with MJF. MJF and his injury has been kept very close to the chest. We have not heard any specifics regarding MJF's labrum injury. We don't know if it's a partial tear. We don't know if it's a full tear. We don't know if he is going through physical therapy or not. We do not know anything. MJF's been very, very silent. Very silent. But Adam Cole costing Wardlow, that would have made more sense because Adam Cole would come to the conclusion that, you know what, I don't think Wardlow's going to do the right thing and give me the championship. So you know what? Let's fuck Wardlow over. Let's kick him out. Then again, a story can still be made from this. Maybe this is a story that's going to take on the manifestation of, well, Matt Taven and Mike Bennett, they did their job. They're the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions. Roderick Strong did his job. He's the International Champion. Wardlow didn't do his job. Maybe they're going to kick out Wardlow because Wardlow cannot get the job done and he cannot become a champion. Maybe that's how they're going to play this out. Maybe they're going to kick Wardlow out because he failed to win a championship like his fellow Undisputed Kingdom brethren. And then maybe we see the return of MJF. Maybe we see the return of MJF and Wardlow, they reunite. And then they can insert FTR in there, and then maybe we get a blood and guts match in July. It will be the reunited Pinnacle versus the Undisputed Kingdom. It's the only thing that makes sense. Realistically, the only thing that makes sense. Now, that all depends on if MJF is ready to come back. That depends on his injury status. We do not know what the deal is. At this point, we're just going to have to wait and see. But There has to be a story to come out of this. Because if Adam Cole or MJF didn't cost Wardlow, then realistically, the Undisputed Kingdom is going to have to kick Wardlow out because he could not get the job done and he could not win a championship for the group. Otherwise, I mean, Wardlow is essentially going to be a background player again. He's going to be a background player. And that's not right. Very good match, though. Very good match. Kazuchika, Okada, and the Young Bucks. They took on Eddie Kingston, Penta, El Cero Miedo, and Pac. Kingston, he wanted Okada, but Okada tagged in Matthew. By the way, it was Matthew Jackson's birthday. Matthew Jackson's birthday this past Wednesday. Happy belated birthday to Matthew. Speaking of birthdays, Billy Ann Wolf, one of my good friends from upstate New York State, she recently just celebrated her birthday yesterday. Happy birthday to her. And then today, good friend of mine, Gunner Trash. Gunner Trash, he is fantastic. Gunner Trash, it is his birthday today on 3/16 day. Greatly appreciate you. Greatly appreciate you. I greatly appreciate everything and all the support that you've done for me, Gunner Trash. And I look forward to seeing you wrestle next month at the Williams Center in Rutherford, New Jersey at ISPW Wrestling's War at the Williams Center. So, Okada, he went blow for blow with Penta, and he delivered a nice drop kick, did Okada. The Elite were in control. Coming back from commercial, Eddie was isolated. He had a belly-to-belly on Matthew, tagged to Penta, crossbody on the Bucks, double DDT on the Bucks, super kick to Okada, missile drop kick by Pac, double plancha on the Bucks. Crowd was chanting, "This is awesome." Diving foot stomp by Penta, 450 splash by Pac on Nicholas. Okada saved it. Eddie Kingston tagged in, and Kingston and Okada went back and forth. Okada with a DDT. Enziguri by Pac. Wheelbarrow facebuster by Matthew. Canadian Destroyer by Penta. Super kick by Nicholas. The referee was distracted. Nicholas with a low blow on Eddie. Rainmaker by Penta. 1, 2, 3. And Okada gets the win. And we got ourselves Eddie Kingston versus Kazuchika Okada next week in Toronto for the Continental Crown Championship. Now, I don't really know if this is realistically the right decision. And to be quite honest with you, I would have saved this for AEW Dynasty. However, the only thing that I can really think of, the only reason why they would be doing this match next week is because maybe they want to do Okada versus Pac at Dynasty for the Continental Crown. Now, Okada and Pac, that is the better match. That is the bigger match to do for Dynasty. And I don't necessarily mind that, but I don't know. I can't help but feel that's a little bit disrespectful to Eddie Kingston. But then again, it is going to make Dynasty more important. Because if we're going to get Pac and Okada for the Continental Crown Championship, I mean, Dynasty, if we may be looking at a pay-per-view that's going to outshine Revolution. So that is the only reason why I can think that they're booking the Okada and Kingston match for next week. Listen, Tony Khan said he's going to make March a very, very, very special show. Or a very special month worth of shows. Clearly he is not joking. He's not. Now, from there we go into a promo with Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay, bruv. Will Ospreay, bruv. He was interviewed by Tony Schiavone. Ospreay, he was very happy. He said he wanted the opportunity to speak to the most beautiful people of Boston. He said that he's always wanted to emulate Bryan Danielson. He says that he has been staring down the lens of a Japanese camera saying that he's the best, Bryan said to prove it. He goes, after my match with Omega, people were talking about one thing, the Tiger Driver 91. Bryan then asked if it was worth it, and I said, yeah, bruv, it was worth it. This match means more to me because there has been a phrase that's been following me called restore the feeling. Bruv, I am the feeling, said Ospreay. This is about reminding people what AEW is all about. The one thing I've learned is that I have respect for those that stand in front of me. But when the bell rings, it's your life or mine, and I don't plan on dying, bruv. Because at the end of the day, my name is Will Ospreay, and I am on another level. This was excellent. Excellent promo by Ospreay. And Ospreay, you could just sense the passion that exudes off of him, and it is going to be one hell of a match. And I'm telling you, we thought that Ospreay and Takeshita was good. We thought that fucking Will Ospreay and Konosuke Takeshita was a good match. Holy shit. Holy shit. We're about to get ourselves a match that is going to pretty much set the bar for the rest of the year. At this point, fuck WrestleMania. Ospreay and Bryan, that is my WrestleMania. That's my WrestleMania. Darby Allin versus Jay White. Darby Allin versus Jay White. We got ourselves a very good wrestling match with these two and a much needed win for Jay White. And according to reports, Darby Allin, he reportedly broke his foot legitimately. Darby Allin legitimately broke his foot. He legitimately broke his foot. And unfortunately, he cannot climb Mount Everest. He cannot climb Mount Everest, and he is going to have to wait until 2025. It's almost as if that broken foot may have saved Darby Allin's life. That broken foot may have saved Darby Allin's life, and it looks like God was watching over Darby Allin. God was watching over Darby Allin, and he says that you are not climbing Mount Everest until 2025. We'll see what happens next year. But Darby Allin and Jay White, they delivered a very good match. Darby Allin with a swanton bomb to the floor. That was supposedly when he broke his foot. Darby Allin was sent over the steps and through the barricade at ringside. Coming back from commercial, Darby bounced off of the top buckle, back and forth roll-ups. Both men were trading. We had a coffin splash, but Jay White countered it into a German suplex, which looked very nice. Uranagi by Jay White for a 2 count. Scorpion death drop by Darby for a 2. Coffin drop on the apron, but Jay White moved. Darby was crushed on the apron. All of a sudden, the ref started counting. 7, 8, 9. Darby got back into the ring, and he ran right into a Blade Runner. Jay White gets the win, 1, 2, 3, as he should. Bullet Club Gold then came out getting ready to attack Darby. Jay White then got Sting's bat. Out came the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass, and they tried to back off the Bullet Club. The Acclaimed were helping Darby out of the ring. All of a sudden, Jay White bashed Billy Gunn right in the head with a steel chair. The Guns attacked the Acclaimed. We had a Blade Runner on Billy Gunn, and the bat was used to crush Darby Allin's ankle in a steel chair. And finally, we got the breakup of the Bang Bang Scissor Gang. Finally. Thank Christ. Thank Christ. I was done. I was legitimately done with the Bang Bang Scissor Gang after 1 week. It was essentially useless. It was essentially useless, and I was completely done and over the fact that the Bang Bang Scissor Gang was a thing. I was over it. Because the personalities do not gel well together. They don't. They have altering personalities and nothing feels genuine. Nothing does. I'm sorry. Nothing ever feels genuine when it comes down to the Bang Bang Scissor Gang. They were not meant to be teammates. They were meant to be opponents. Now, thankfully, it only lasted about 5-6 weeks. But now the Bullet Club, they're back to being the fucking Bullet Club. Now it's time that we get that title for title match. And if we're going to get that title for title match, I'm looking at Supercard of Honor. I'm looking at Supercard of Honor in Philadelphia on April 5th, and we get ourselves Jay White and the Guns versus the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass for the Ring of Honor and AEW World Tag Team Championships title for title. That's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at that match as a marquee match for Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor, and I am giving both sets of championships to the Bullet Club. That is the best route to go. And it is not needed. It is not needed to have the Acclaimed hold the Trios Championships for much longer. The best possible outcome would be Bullet Club winning both sets of Trios Championships and just holding those championships all throughout the spring and summer. They need to go on a roll, and they need to be a priority on AEW and Ring of Honor TV. Chris Jericho and Hook, they took on the Gates of Agony. This was probably the weakest thing on the show, not because it was bad, not because it was a bad match. It was a fine match, but it was very basic. It was a very basic, very generic tag team match. And when it comes down to it, Chris Jericho, he just doesn't have that same feeling that he did a couple years ago. And the reason being, it's because of two things. Number one, Chris Jericho as a babyface just doesn't work. Chris Jericho is not all that good of a babyface. The last time that Jericho came off great as a babyface was when he was feuding with MJF in 2021. That was the last time Jericho came off great as a babyface. Jericho needs to be a heel. A tag team with Hook, it's not going to do it. A feud with Hook, that will do it. We need to get the asshole Jericho back. We need to get prick Jericho back. That will make Jericho feel a lot better. And then the second reason is because of the fact that as good as Jericho is, and he is great, let's not kid ourselves. Jericho, he's one of the greatest of all time. He can still perform at a high level. Matter of fact, you take a look at his matches this year, he's put on a solid streak of matches. He had a solid match with Matt Sydal on Rampage. He had a very good match with Kyle Fletcher on Dynamite. He had a great match with Konosuke Takeshita back at Phoenix, at the Phoenix episode of Dynamite last month. That was a great match. He had a very solid match against Teton on Collision, and I'm sure the match next week against Hook is going to be very good. The man can still perform at a high level, and that's great for him. But when you think about Jericho, I want you to ask yourself this question. What has Jericho done? What has he done? Or for the better question is, what hasn't he done? What is there left for Jericho to do? Not just in AEW, but in professional wrestling as a whole. Think about that. He's pretty much done everything. He's done everything there is to do. And Jericho really hasn't been involved in anything important. The last time that Jericho felt important and the last time that Jericho was at a peak was when he was the Ring of Honor World Champion back at the end of 2022. And that didn't even last very long. That lasted 3 months? But that reign was great. That reign was fucking awesome. He was putting on bangers every week. He actually put over Claudio and helped Claudio back at Ring of Honor Final Battle in 2022. That was the last time that Jericho was involved in something important. But the last year, all Jericho's been doing is putting over the young talent. Now, that is the role that he should be in. That is the role that he should be in. But at the same point in time, it just feels like he's done everything there is to do. If I was to describe Chris Jericho, he's just there. He's there. He's not helping the show. He's not hurting the show. He's just there. Because there's nothing left for him to do. He could retire tomorrow and he can go into whatever Hall of Fame you want to put him in. At this point, Jericho is just playing Ring Around the Rosie in AEW. He's playing Ring Around the Rosie in the mid-card. There's nothing left for him to do. He has had a career that many people would kill for. Now, he can still wrestle, but there's really nothing that Jericho has been involved in that has had a lot of substance. It's not that he's shoved down our throats. If he was shoved down our throats, he'd probably be a champion again. He's not a champion. He hasn't been a champion since he won the Ring of Honor World title. He put over Ricky Starks. He put over Adam Cole. He put over Will Ospreay. He put over Powerhouse Hobbs. He got squashed by Powerhouse Hobbs, actually. He put over Ricky Starks and Big Bill. He put over Konosuke Takeshita. He's going to put over Hook. He's going to put over Hook next week. He's done everything there is to do. I think we need to turn Jericho heel. Turning Jericho heel would be the best route for him to go. And maybe if he wants to take a break, maybe he should take a break. Maybe Jericho taking a little bit of a break and then coming back as a heel, that would benefit him greatly. Because at this point, there's nothing that he can do right now that would really generate any interest. Unless you're going to have Adam Copeland win the TNT title, and maybe we see Jericho turn heel and fight Adam Copeland and reignite that rivalry. Because I remember they had a series of solid matches back in the day. But then again, after he gets done with Adam Copeland, I mean, what else is there for him to do? Really nothing left. Maybe a match with Daniel Garcia. I wouldn't mind Jericho versus Daniel Garcia. We haven't gotten that match. Maybe we see Jericho and Daniel Garcia, and maybe Jericho puts over Garcia. I wouldn't mind it. But again, it's very, very hard for me to think of anything that Jericho hasn't done. He's had a career, and there's really nothing left for him to do. So what is he going to do? He's just hanging around. That's it. We'll see what happens. Not a bad match. But realistically, nothing of substance here. Hook is going to get the victory over Jericho next week, as he should. Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong, they had a little segment, and Strong gave Kyle O'Reilly his blessing to do things on his own. So it looks like Kyle O'Reilly, he's going to be working his way up to a potential title match in the future. Mercedes Moné actually had a little interaction with Riho before the main event. Willow Nightingale and Riho, they delivered a very good women's match in the main event. Whether you love her or you don't love her, Riho is a very good professional wrestler. Willow Nightingale ended up getting the win. And the crowd was actually chanting, "This is awesome," during the match. Riho and Willow actually worked very well together. Willow gets the win. Julia Hart and Sky Blue came out and they attacked Willow, resulting in Mercedes Moné coming out. She bashed Sky Blue and then delivered the Monet Maker on Julia Hart. And she stands tall. So it looks like that Willow, she could be all but confirmed to get the TBS Championship. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. I'm not really sure how they're going to do that. I'm not sure if it's going to happen at Battle of the Belts. I'm not sure if it's going to happen at Dynasty. We'll have to wait and see. But that was Dynamite. And it was a great show. Great show. I'll tell you what wasn't a great show, SmackDown. SmackDown was not a great show. The Rock had the Rock concert that kicked off the show, and considering that she's in here, I may as well say this. I was talking to her. I was talking to Princess Skywalker Lowdown. I was talking to Jess for the first 45 minutes of SmackDown, and I was pretty much having a conversation with her rather than listening to the Rock concert. So I had no idea what he said in specifics. I did take down a couple of notes. So The Rock was pretty much acting like a babyface, even though he was a heel. Is he supposed to be a heel or a babyface? I don't fucking know. So The Rock talked about Cody Rhodes crying and how he was a mistake. He said to Rollins that Rollins' wife is more popular than he is. He bashed Cody's mother and said that he is going to whip her son with his belt. He said that the people of Memphis essentially pay for hookers, which realistically is true. He then promised to take Cody's opportunity away and leave Cody's blood on his belt if you smell what the final boss is cooking. I don't care. I don't give a shit. I honest to God do not give a shit. And at this rate, the only thing that I give a shit about is just get the fucking title on Cody. Get the title off of Roman and put it on Cody, because the longer the title is on Roman, the worse that the WWE is going to become. SmackDown and the people on SmackDown have absolutely no direction. So here's what they did on SmackDown. We've been having some tournament bracket matches, right? Some tournament bracket matches to see who is going to fight in the six-pack ladder match at WrestleMania. So we got ourselves two qualifying matches, two tag team qualifying matches, and the tag team matches ended up being fairly solid. Now, I will say this. I appreciate the fact that they're putting a focus on tag team wrestling, but can I please ask, is WWE allergic to giving us fresh matches? How many rematches did we get on this show? We got Legado del Fantasma versus the LWO. These two factions have been feuding, and they have been having matches almost every fucking week for the last 4 months on WWE TV. Rematch number 1. Then you got the New Catch Republic versus Pretty Deadly. Good match, but this is the 4th time that we've seen them in the ring together with each other. 4 matches with each other. How many matches does Pete Dunne have to compete with whatever fucking partner, Ridge Holland or Tyler Bate? How many fucking times do we need to see Pete Dunne in some form of a tag team match against Pretty Deadly? We've seen this shit time and time and time and time again. Then you got Dragon Lee and Santos Escobar. 2 minutes. Might I remind you that these two have fought 4 times since November. And Dragon Lee, he was in control for about 99% of this match. He took 0 offense, and Santos Escobar delivers 1 Phantom Driver after 2 minutes, barely even 2 minutes, and Dragon Lee loses. What a fucking waste of time. Then you got Randy Orton and Grayson Waller. Very basic match, and we get LA Knight versus AJ Styles booked. LA Knight and AJ Styles booked. SmackDown match on WrestleMania. That is a SmackDown match on WrestleMania. Why is LA Knight not in the WWE United States title picture? I'm sorry, but that is extremely, and I mean extremely, fucking pathetic. And then you got Bayley and Dakota Kai in the main event. Yeah, how much did Mercedes Moné have to do with that match closing the show? And guess what? It ended via a disqualification. Oh, and guess what? Next week, guess what? Next week we got Street Profits versus AOP. Again, another fucking rematch. It's unfucking believable. I swear to God. You're telling me that you couldn't have given us the Street Profits versus the New Catch Republic? You couldn't have given us the LWO versus Pretty Deadly. You couldn't have given us the Authors of Pain versus the OC. No. You had to give us the same fucking matches that we've been seeing for God knows how fucking long now. Swear to God, nothing but rematches. Nothing but rematches. End the brand split. End it. End the brand split and have everyone float between both shows. It's ridiculous that I need to see the same fucking matches over and over and over again on TV. I'm not even going over the specifics. All you need to know is Logan Paul, Kevin Owens, and Randy Orton, that got confirmed for WrestleMania. LA Knight and AJ Styles got confirmed for WrestleMania. And Jay versus Jimmy got confirmed for WrestleMania. That's all you need to know. Rampage. Rampage was actually fairly solid. We got ourselves some really solid wrestling on the show. And we found out who is going to be Deonna Purrazzo's partner. Next week on Dynamite in Toronto in the Coca-Cola Coliseum. Toni Storm and Mariah May, they will be facing Deonna Purrazzo and a partner of her choosing, and we're going to talk about who her partner is when we get to that point in the show. The show kicked off with the Dark Order. The Dark Order versus Orange Cassidy and Trent Beretta. I could actually get used to Orange Cassidy and Trent Beretta in the AEW World Tag Team title division. I could actually get used to that. I actually think that they work pretty well as a tag team. We got ourselves a solid match here with the Dark Order. The Dark Order, they are a very good tag team. So, Trent Beretta and Orange Cassidy had the early advantage. Evil Uno caught with a Stun Dog Millionaire by Cassidy. And then Evil Uno then hit the Ataxia for a 2 count. Coming back from commercial, Cassidy and Trent, they mounted a comeback. We had a German suplex by Trent, half and half suplex on Silver. Uno then delivered a boot, and Silver hit a code red on Trent Beretta for a 2. Silver then with a cannonball off the apron on Cassidy. He caught a spear by Trent Beretta on the floor. Uno then with a swanton bomb off the top rope onto Trent. Cassidy with a suicide dive into a tornado DDT on the floor on Evil Uno. We had a backbreaker by Uno on Cassidy. We had a stunner and a German suplex. End of days combination by the Dark Order, which looked very nice. Cassidy saved it. Cassidy with an orange punch to Silver. Orange punch to Evil Uno. And then a strong 0 on Silver by Trent Beretta. And Trent Beretta and Orange Cassidy, they win, and they got themselves a spot in the AEW World Tag Team Title Tournament, and we're going to go over that in just a little bit. I don't mind them as a tag team. I don't. I do not think that they're going to win the tag team titles. I don't think that they're winning the tag team titles, but I would not mind. I would not mind whatsoever if we see a heel turn by Trent Beretta. Maybe we see Trent Beretta get a little jealous of Orange Cassidy. We've seen the turn tease itself a little bit here and there. Maybe we see Orange Cassidy spend a little time in the undercard before he starts going after championships again. Toni Storm and Mariah May, they took on Kayla Sparks and Little Mean Kathleen. And this was pretty much a showcase match. However, I gotta say, whoever made the call to pair Mariah May and Toni Storm together, that person deserves a raise. These two look absolutely fantastic together. They bounce off each other very well. And Mariah May, it's actually quite scary how much she looks like Toni Storm. So, this was a pretty basic showcase match. Deonna Purrazzo then came out and she put her hand out to the tunnel and she revealed her partner to be none other than Thunder Rosa. They are officially partners for Wednesday. Mariah May and Toni Storm then left the ring, and Thunder Rosa and Deonna Purrazzo stood tall. Now, I will be the first one to tell you, I was actually expecting Britt Baker and or Jamie Hayter. I was expecting one of those two. I'm not sure what the injury status is on Jamie Hayter. I am not sure what the injury status is on Britt Baker, but I have to say that this is not a bad call. This is not a bad decision at all. I don't want people to get all up in arms upset just because Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker did not return. I don't want people to get all up in arms and upset because Thunder Rosa being involved in this makes sense. Because if you remember, back in 2022, when Thunder Rosa was the women's champion, she was supposed to fight Toni Storm at All Out in 2022, but then she got a back injury. She got a back injury and she couldn't compete. Now that she's back and Toni Storm's the women's champion, now she has a valid case to be challenging for the women's championship because she's been winning matches and she never lost the championship. She had to give it up. Now, I was expecting Britt Baker and or Jamie Hayter, but I am not going to sit here and complain about Thunder Rosa when we tend to bash professional wrestling here on this show when shit doesn't make sense. I can't bash this because Thunder Rosa makes sense. Thunder Rosa being involved in the women's title picture makes sense. And we got ourselves a match for Dynasty. So we got Bryan and Ospreay. We got Thunder Rosa and Toni Storm. And then we'll probably get Swerve and Joe. We'll probably get Okada and Pac. I can't sit here and shit on the fact that Thunder Rosa is being involved in the women's title picture. That's where she should be. That's where she should be. And not only that, I like the fact that Mercedes is not being thrusted into the women's title picture immediately. Mercedes is going to work her way there. She's going to win matches en route to getting to the title picture. That I can appreciate. The AEW World Tag Team Tournament bracket. There are 10 teams. We have a 10-team tournament where we'll have 4 teams battling to see who will fight in the wild card positions. So in the first round, we got Ricky Starks and Big Bill, the former champions. They're taking on Top Flight. FTR, they're taking on a wild card participant team. And the wild card participant team will be determined tomorrow. Well, actually not tomorrow. Tonight on Collision. Tonight on Collision, it's going to be the Infantry versus the House of Black, and the winners will be the wild card, and they will fight FTR. And then on the left side of the bracket, we got a rewind. We got a rewind from the initial tag team title tournament back in 2019. It's a runaround of Private Party and the Young Bucks. They got that match. Then you got the Undisputed Kingdom. They will be taking on the wild card of Best Friends or the Don Callis family. One of those two teams will be the wild card, and they will end up fighting the Undisputed Kingdom. We'll see how that plays out. The only gripe that I have is the Blackpool Combat Club are not involved. That's the one thing that I have a gripe with. If anything, the Blackpool Combat Club should have taken the place of the Undisputed Kingdom. Taven and Bennett, they don't really need to be there. As good as they are, they don't need to be there. That's the only gripe that I have with this tournament. Otherwise, the fact that we got some new teams in there, we got Top Flight in there, we got the Infantry in there, we got Don Callis family in there. I think this is going to be a very nice showcase to see who is going to be tag team champions sooner rather than later. This is a very nice way to showcase the tag team division going forward. So I can't really sit here and complain about that. Konosuke Takeshita. Konosuke Takeshita. He took on Commander on Rampage, and my, oh my. Konosuke Takeshita, baby. Konosuke Takeshita is a fucking beast. Konosuke Takeshita is an absolute fucking machine. I am actually dead shocked at how good Konosuke Takeshita is. Konosuke Takeshita is absolutely fucking unbelievable. Unbelievable. This match went 10 minutes. 10 minutes, and this was one of the most effective 10-minute matches that I've seen. Absolutely fucking unbelievable. Konosuke Takeshita and Commander, 10 minutes. Very good match for 10 minutes. At this point, they may have no choice but to put the TNT title on Konosuke Takeshita sooner rather than later. So, very fast-paced offense in the beginning. We had double knees and a lion salt by Commander. Takeshita, with a huge release German suplex, turned Commander inside out. Coming back from commercial, Commander with a beautiful moonsault to the floor on Takeshita. Springboard Hurricane Rana for a 2. Takeshita caught Commander mid-tornillo. So Commander was in midair in a tornillo. Takeshita caught him into a fluid Blue Thunder Bomb. It's unbelievable. The Blue Thunder Bomb that Takeshita does, it is unbelievable how beautiful it is. A matter of fact, Konosuke Takeshita does a better Blue Thunder Bomb than Sami Zayn. Fight me on that. Konosuke Takeshita does a better Blue Thunder Bomb than Sami Zayn. And that is fact. So after that, we got a kick out by Commander. Commander then hit a code red on Takeshita for a 2. Commander with a springboard Canadian Destroyer. Absolutely unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. After that, we had the tightrope shooting star press. Tightrope shooting star press. He went for it, did Commander, but Takeshita got the feet up. Takeshita got the feet up, and Takeshita inevitably put down Commander with a pop-up powerbomb, a V-trigger, and a spinning Falcon Arrow, which looked great. And Takeshita gets the win in a very good match. Takeshita continues to add. He continues to add onto his resume in 2024. His resume of excellent, and I mean excellent fucking matches. And an excellent match with Darby, and an excellent match with Jericho. Excellent match with Will Ospreay. And a very good match here with Commander. Takeshita's on a fucking roll. We need Takeshita in more singles matches. More singles matches going forward. And then in the main event, it was the Undisputed Kingdom in Top Flight and Action Andretti. It was a 6-man match. 6-man tag team match. Pretty solid match here. Solid match here. Really nothing over the top. The Undisputed Kingdom ended up getting the win with the end of Heartache from Roderick Strong. They needed that win. Undisputed Kingdom needed that win after Wardlow lost on Dynamite. Glad that the Undisputed Kingdom got a win. I don't really know what they're going to do with Roderick Strong because there's really no clear-cut challenger for Strong. Maybe Hook? Maybe we see Hook challenge Roderick Strong? Maybe that is a good spot for him. I'm not going to lie. Hook being involved with Roderick Strong and the International Championship, that is a very good spot for him. Hook and Roderick Strong could be a very, very solid match. So that's what I would do. I would do Roderick Strong versus Hook. That was Rampage, ladies and gentlemen, and that wraps up this edition of the Lightning Flash Update. Holy shit. 48 viewers, people. 48 viewers across 8 social media platforms. You guys are fucking awesome. I know that Twitter is blowing up right now. Greatly appreciate each and every single one of you. Thank you. Thank you for taking the time to come on and hang out with me. I greatly appreciate every single one of you. Thank you to the Final Hoss. Thank you to Princess Skywalker. Thank you very much to Dee Dee. Thank you to Raging Girl Gamer. Thank you to Hula Grim. Thank you very much to Dylan. You guys are fantastic in every sense of the word. Thank you very much to James Punaseca as well. We are going to continue our hot streak. We're going to continue our hot streak going into the rest of 2024 because we got ourselves 5 streams coming up during WrestleMania weekend. We got ourselves the rundown for Supercard of Honor and NXT Stand and Deliver. That is going down on Thursday, April 4th. And my guest is John Blaine from Around the Ropes podcast. He's a very good guy. Please go and check him out and show him some love. And then on Friday, April 5th at 3 p.m., Hula Grim's coming on my fucking show. Hula Grim's coming back to the channel, and we are going to preview and predict everything going down at WrestleMania across both nights. That's going to be Friday, April 5th at 3 p.m. And then on Saturday afternoon at 4:30, it is the rewind for Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor, and the rewind for NXT Stand and Deliver. It's going to be a dual rewind, just like it was last year. Then on Sunday, April 7th at 2 p.m., the rewind for WrestleMania, night number 1. And then on Monday, April 8th at 2 p.m., the rewind for WrestleMania, night number 2. 5 streams, people. 5 streams across 5 days. It is going to be the busiest period of the DJ Storms calendar year. Please set your notifications and set your calendars. Till next time, I am DJ Storms, and this has been the Lightning Flash update. But before we get out of here, very important question that all must answer, and you already know the drill, people. The question is, who runs the IWC? Who runs the IWC, people? Let me take a drink of my ice water. I will tell ya who runs the IWC. Who but DJ motherfucking Storms. Matter of fact, I don't just run the IWC. I am the IWC. And don't you ever forget it.
Cause we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Yeah, we ran out of patience for your love with the